project signing ceremony. Before we commence our program, we'd like to have a word of prayer led by Deacon Alvin Knight.
Good morning, everybody. I greet you in the name of the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you with grateful hearts as we gather here for this important occasion of the signing of these contracts. Thank you for the gift of partnership, collaboration, and the opportunity to build something meaningful together. We ask for your guidance and wisdom today. Bless the individuals, organizations, donors represented here. May these agreements be a foundation for mutual growth, integrity, and shared success. Grant us clarity of mind, unity of purpose, and fairness in all dealings. Let these contracts be more than just legal documents, but a symbol of trust, cooperation, and a commitment to excellence. Bless this gathering and all our future endeavors. May your hand be upon these ventures from beginning to end. In your holy name we pray.
Thank you very much, Deacon Knight. I'd like to welcome everyone to the official signing ceremony for our agriculture and fisheries investment projects. It is truly an honor to have all of you gathered here today as we continue to chart a resilient, food-secure future for Dominica. To Honorable Charles Pemberton, representing the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Roland Royer, our Minister, Honorable Julian Defoe, Honorable Irvin McIntyre, Minister of Finance, my cabinet colleagues present here today, P.S. Ryan Anselm and other permanent secretaries, Deacon Alvin Knight, staff of the Project Implementation Unit, staff of the Ministry of Agriculture and other ministries represented here today, contractors, partners, farmers, fishers, and processors, those watching and listening online, good morning. As the chairperson of this event, I'm proud to say that this occasion marks another significant stride in our government's commitment to modernize, strengthen, and safeguard our future agriculture and fishery sectors. Under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, the government of Dominica has remained unwavering in its pursuit of a resilient agriculture and fisheries sector, one that is climate smart, innovation-driven, and deeply rooted in community empowerment. We've seen the journey from the devastating impacts of natural disasters to rebuilding infrastructure, developing resilient systems, improving access to water and equipment, and expanding opportunities for value addition. And today, we're investing further in irrigation, boat building, processing, food production, and trail rehabilitation. We are not where we used to be, and certainly not where we aim to be, but we are progressing steadily and intentionally. Today's accomplishments would not be possible without the combined efforts of many. I want to extend heartfelt appreciation to the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy and its technical teams, the Ministry of Finance and our project support units, all our development and private sector partners, our contractors and service providers. But most importantly, we want to say thank you to our farmers, our fishers and processors, the everyday heroes who wake before dawn, labor tirelessly, and ensure our food systems stay alive. Today's investments are designed with you at the center. As we officially begin, we want to welcome Honorable Julian Defoe as he presents his remarks.
Okay, pleasant good morning. Honorable Dennis Charles Pemberton, representing the Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, Minister for Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security. Honorable Rowan Roye, the Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. My colleague, Honorable Lakia Joseph, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. Well, myself, honorable members of Cabinet who are present here. Ms. Karen Privot, I don't see the CAPSEC here, but of course we have to acknowledge all the time Mr. Ryan and other permanent secretaries, Mr. Ryan Ansem, their permanent secretary, Mr. Kevin Stevenson, the project director on the project implementation unit, his staff of the Ministry of Agriculture by extension, contractors, the media, ladies and gentlemen. I am used to saying a lot, but I have decided this morning to stick directly to the fisheries aspect of this momentous occasion today. As we know, we have a number of contracts to sign, tend to be specific, some agriculture traditionally, and some includes fisheries. Distinguished guests, fisherfolk, contractors, ladies and gentlemen, today, the 16th day of May, I am indeed elated to address you at a very important juncture in the implementation of the Dominica Emergency Agricultural Livelihood and Climate Resilience Project, which we are all accustomed to calling the DEALRCP project, where we will witness the signing of contracts for valuable and critical fisheries development interventions under the Contingency Emergency Response Component, which is better known as CERC. This Labour government clearly recognized from inception that our small-scale fishery is more than a means of livelihood for many persons in various coastal communities, but it is a way of life, a cornerstone of our economy, and a heritage we must protect and preserve. However, as a government, we must also provide the means for adaptation to transition using modern technology and meeting national and international food safety standards. Post-Hurricane Maria, the government of Dominica made a strategic decision to contract from the World Bank $25 million or 66 million EC dollars for the restoration of the agriculture sector in Dominica, which includes fisheries. In the first instance, we saw an initial investment of $5.4 million for the restoration of fisheries livelihoods only, and this is just the fisheries sector. In phase one, we saw the procurement and distribution of 108 outboard engines, 68 50 horsepower and 40 100 horsepower at a cost of $1.9 million. This intervention saw a strategic move from the traditional use of two-stroke outboard engines to four-stroke, aimed at reducing carbon emissions, demonstrating our willingness to play our part to tackle this global problem of climate change, while not forgetting we are net emitters. So we are contributing a lot, but on the other hand, we are net emitters. In phase two, we had capacity building for boat builders. 18 local boat builders received advanced training from an international naval architect on the construction of resilient fishing boats. This program, which combined both theoretical and practical methodologies, culminated in the creation of molds designed for reinforced fiberglass plastic boats up to 30 feet in length. It also saw the successful completion and testing of our fourth climate resilient prototype. In phase three, which is currently being implemented, brought large-scale construction of 54 boats, reinforced plastic boats. This ambitious effort is led by 5 trained local boat builders and their teams, construction boats ranging from 19 to 25 feet in length, 8 of which have been distributed, and with an additional 12 boats to be handed over next week. The impact of this initiative cannot be overstated, where over $1 million worth of contracts were directly invested in the livelihoods of these skilled boat builders and their teams. As a response to the COVID-19 pandemic and to further build resilience in the agriculture and fisheries sector, this government sought additional funding for the contingency emergency response component, which was made available through the World Bank. So, this morning's ceremony, which includes the signing of contracts for free fisheries-related projects, are just an additional milestones in this government's delivery and commitment to fisher folks around the country. Specifically for today's signing, we have the contractor Corisav, who will receive over $1.1 million in a cadre of projects. They are collective, but included in this $1.1 million will include the much awaited, and I see my colleague Sheki, if you don't mind, they say, is there because it's been a whole year she's at me, for the complete covering of where is currently known as the vending area. As you know, currently it is an open area. So we will provide not just a covering, but a resilient covering to improve just not the well-being of the fishers and their work environment, but improving food safety. And this project include this contract designed and built component. Again, we will see another contract signing with direct fisheries intervention for regional contractors. And this time we're heading into my constituency where interventions will be made in 3 areas. We will rehabilitate the slipway in Stowe. We will significantly enhance the area where fish vending takes place, among other amenities. And also in this contract, we'll also see the construction of a slipway in Scott's Head to enable the smoother hauling of boats, especially during storm areas. And also, we will see much needed intervention in the east in Saint-Sauveur, of course, enhancing the slipway and the already existing infrastructures. We will enhance the infrastructure such as the locker room buildings and the administrative building in Saint-Sauveur. And the third component of the intervention that will be signed today is an additional contract, or as we call the technical term, an addendum will be made to Mr. Bertley Carrett, who already had a contract for building of 12 boats. So he will be given an additional $115,000 to build an additional 5 boats. As we said, we have 5 boat builders, but of course, all of which are at different levels. And I should say, not being biased, but Mr. Carrett around the island is well known for being one of the premier boat builders with a very high quality product and finishing, which is sought after, not even locally now, but also regionally. However, I wish to point out that there are ongoing fisheries interventions in the communities of Bioche and Dublin, where fisheries infrastructure on the landing site is being rehabilitated at a cost of $306,000. Specifically, we have the rehabilitation of the Bioche landing site, which is specifically the locker room building, and there is a local contractor there, Mr. Tyrone Gabriel, at a cost of $151,000. And in Bioche specifically, we also rehabilitating the existing fisheries administrative building, and this is at a cost of $155,000 by Mr. John Sabruch. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is through these direct investments and others in the fisheries sector, we are truly creating the enabling environment for a robust and resilient sector, as articulated in the overall vision for resiliency by the Honorable Prime Minister for Dominica. And also is well included and enshrined in other strategic developments such as the CRRP and the NRDS. Investment in infrastructure, training and equipment that bolster our capacity to weather challenges, not just today, but well into the future. I pray that these projects will be implemented expeditiously and with quality at the same time, since in a few weeks' time, we will see the commencement of the Atlantic hurricane season. With these few words, thank you very much for your attention and participation.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Defo. And our champion of the Ministry of Agriculture, Honorable Roland Roye. His grounded leadership has accelerated sector-wide reform with focus on resilience and market access. I would like us to all welcome Honorable Julian Defoe as he delivers his remarks. Sorry, Roland Roye, sorry. It's us ourselves.
Yeah. We twins, you know, one looking like a Carib, one looking like an Indian, but it's myself. Good morning. Let me recognize the Honorable Dennis Charles Pemberton, who is representing the Prime Minister this morning. Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, Minister for Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience and Social Security. Honorable Julian Defoe, Honorable Akia Joseph, my colleagues at the Ministry, my other colleagues in Cabinet. I'm seeing Mrs. Kakira Hippolyte, a friend from Beyond. She get 2 projects there, in the smile, it's Pinard. And our Minister for Sports is right there as well. P.S. Anselm and other permanent secretaries, Mr. Kevin Stevenson, staff of the Ministry and staff of the PIU, importantly the contractors, media, ladies and gentlemen, beneficiaries, good morning. It's indeed a pleasure to be part of today's ceremony, bearing witness to the signing of 11 contracts that will positively impact the lives of many families involved in agriculture, fisheries, and the tourism sectors. These investments, totaling $5.2 million, represents just a portion of the significant effort being made towards the development and modernization of Dominica's agricultural sector. Ladies and gentlemen, we often hear from opposition voices and pressure groups that nothing is happening in agriculture, or more so, that the sector is dead. But this morning, let us put the facts on the table. Just 7 years ago, Hurricane Maria devastated Dominica's agricultural sector, and we were at ground zero. We had nothing. However, this government responded swiftly. We strategized and made bold, targeted investments. And despite challenges from climate change and invasive pests and diseases, we not only recovered, but we surpassed pre-Maria production levels. These efforts included rehabilitating farm access roads, providing farm inputs and equipment, and constructing critical agricultural infrastructure. This action enabled our farmers to bounce back quickly, and we continue to build on that momentum. To truly understand the scale and scope of our transformation efforts, allow me to highlight a few major initiatives. 4,563 farmers were supported with inputs, equipment, planting material at a value of $18 million, which is free of charge to help restart food production. As Minister Defoe said, 106 fisher folks received new engines valued at $1.9 million. An additional $3 million was allocated for materials and labor to construct boats for fisher folks, which they are given free of charge. We invested $7.9 million in building resilient pens for livestock for over 200 farmers, securing protein supply for the nation. $4.4 million went into rehabilitating key infrastructure to include agricultural offices, the central livestock farm, and of course, the Salisbury irrigation system. $7.7 million was directed towards constructing a citrus certification facility that, once completed, will produce up to 50,000 certified citrus planting material annually. And as we speak, we are now in the process of grafting 50,000 citrus plants at the 1 Mile Agricultural Station, and by the end of the year, we'll do an additional 50,000. So farmers citrus, come in. The National Abattoir is currently being rehabilitated at a cost of $6.4 million, forming part of our strategy to reduce chicken and pork imports by 30% by the year 2030. We spent $1.2 million on the expansion of the banana and plantain subsectors, including the procurement of 45 tissue culture plants and related inputs. 45,000 plants and inputs given to farmers free of charge. But no longer will we import tissue culture plants because we have invested $11.2 million with the support from People's Republic of China to establish our own tissue culture lab at 1 Mile Portsmouth. So how they say anything dead then? I can understand that. $1.2 million was also invested in vehicles and equipment to enhance the capacity of our extension officers. And to support timely payments, $5 million was placed in a procurement facility, enabling farmers to receive payment from Bexia within 3 days, spurring renewed interest in supplying fresh produce. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we add $73 million under the Livelihoods project spent thus far, with more to spend, $30 million in feeder road development, $20 million to rehabilitate fisheries complexes, and $11.2 million for a new lab, we are looking at over $130 million invested in Dominica's agriculture and fisheries sector by this government. These investments are bearing fruit. We have regained market share in our traditional regional markets. Production is rising, and agriculture's contribution to GDP remains the highest in CARICOM at 17%. So, today's contract signing represents a continuation of our strategic focus on the production of sectors, including on the focus on productive sectors, including agriculture, fisheries, and tourism. Two notable contracts being signed today are for the rehabilitation of segments 4 and 11 of the Waiti-Kubuli National Trail, valued at $1.1 million. The WNT is a key tourism product, drawing overnight visitors and boosting local economies. I'm also particularly proud of the contract for the construction of an animal feed mill plant in the north of the island near the Longhouse Port. This facility will help reduce feed costs and fill supply gaps, directly supporting our livestock farmers. We are also issuing contracts today for the procurement of irrigation supplies worth approximately $700,000, a vital investment in our efforts to climate-proof vegetable production and ensure a consistent supply of fresh vegetables. This is just the beginning. In the coming weeks, by God's grace, we'll be back here to issue grants to over 140 agro-processors to enhance their operations and meet food safety standards valued at over $3 million. And also, next Wednesday, we'll be delivering 12 boats to fishers valued at approximately $675,000. So while the pressure groups criticize, we work. While they complain, we strategize, always putting the needs and the interests of our farmers and fishers first. So in closing, I extend my deepest gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister for his guidance and unwavering commitment to the sector. And I also thank my colleagues at the Ministry, our Permanent Secretary, and the dedicated staff of the Ministry and the Project Implementation Unit for making today possible. Thank you very much.
I believe Honorable Roland Roy deserves a better round of applause than that, right? Thank you, Honorable Minister. At this point, I would like to welcome our Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, our Minister of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience, and Social Security, to deliver his remarks. Let's welcome Honorable McIntyre.
Thank you very much, Honorable Joseph. Let me first recognize Honorable Dennis Charles Pemberton, Minister for Tourism and representative of the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Roland Roy, our Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Julian Defoe, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Akia Joseph, Parliamentary Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, other honorable members of Cabinet, Mr. Ryan Ansem, Permanent Secretary, acting in Ministry of Agriculture, other permanent secretaries, Mr. Kevin Stevenson, Project Manager, Project Implementation Unit, staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, staff of the Project Implementation Unit, contractors, the media, ladies and gentlemen, pleasant good morning to all gathered here today. It is a great honor to share remarks on this occasion as we witness the signing of 11 contracts totaling $5.25 million to facilitate the commencement of several critical projects. The commencement of these projects signifies our government's commitment and persistent efforts to rehabilitate and expand activities in key sectors of the economy to enhance the livelihood of our people. Most of the investments represent expansion interventions in agriculture, fisheries, and tourism sector. Fisheries has taken up an expanding role since the demise of the banana industry. Many young farmers found the fisheries sector as a viable alternative for livelihood and food security. And together, we have built a safer and more sophisticated industry through the production and distribution of modern fiberglass boats and other modern devices such as fish aggregation devices. I'm very pleased to see that our efforts are continuing to grow the sector, especially the area of offshore fisheries. Through these actions, we are seeking to protect our nearshore fisheries, which are already under threat of extinction. If we continue to manage our nearshore fisheries, this will provide an added boost to the tourism product. The integration of these two sectors at the granular level will provide added opportunities for dive operators, divers, and overtime fisher folks. In addition to these investments, we will reduce fish importation, improve food security, and ultimately enhance agriculture's contribution to gross domestic product. Investment in the fisheries sector therefore have significant economic benefits at the micro and macro levels. The fisheries sector, a significant contributor to rural employment, already contributes 1% of GDP. But there are still tremendous economic opportunities for our people and country as this government continues to create the environment for more Dominicans to invest and yield the benefits of this growing sector. For those who will be receiving the boats when constructed, I urge all of you to remember that this gift from government has to be cherished and seen as an investment. This investment could have gone to other uses in this expanding economy. And so, you should also seek to build a genuine and fair relationship with the consumers. Remember, we are still recovering from cascading disasters, and building a resilient economy will take time and effort. Secondly, Dominica has succeeded in building the longest and most energizing trail in the Eastern Caribbean. This trail navigates the richest and most refreshing rainforest in the region. Dominica is covered with 70% of lush forests, inviting mountains, and cooling valleys. We have to package and market our Waiti Kubuli National Trail to attract foreign hikers, but also as a means of keeping our people energized, fit, and healthy. In a significant way, what qualifies as the nature island of the Caribbean presents challenges, and we must respond to them. The trail requires maintenance from time to time. We must repair the trail to allow for continued use, but importantly, to maintain the integrity of a major aspect of our tourism product. The tourism sector is a major part of our economy, contributing approximately 35% of our GDP. Together, investments in both fisheries and tourism are seen as complementary, serving to achieve greater diversification and growth. I urge you, the contractors, to do a good job, paying attention to value for money and safety of users. Thirdly, refurbishment of the Roseau multipurpose packhouse will help enhance our processes and products to gain access to wider market region within the region and internationally. Our once vibrant citral industry is now challenged by pests and diseases. Government has invested significant amounts in the citrus certification program and has distributed clean citrus plants throughout the island. While there is much work to be done, the rehabilitation of the multi-purpose plant will contribute significantly in improving our export-ready potential. Finally, these critical investments by your government represents an ongoing drive to achieve economic diversification, growth, and development, the result of which will be more jobs and a better quality of life for our citizens. There are many challenges that confront us with cascading disasters serving as a major obstacle. We depend on the cooperation and support of all of us to make this effort a success. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable McIntyre. And at this time, the Prime Minister would have loved to be here with us, but he's well represented by Honorable Dennis Charles Pemberton. And her passion for community empowerment and sustainable development has always been evident, and we are grateful for her presence. She's not here in her capacity as the Minister of Tourism, but she's here to represent the Prime Minister. So let's all welcome Honorable Dennis Charles Pemberton.
I'm here in both because I have a lot to celebrate. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Let me recognize the head table, Honorable Roland Royer, Honorable Julian Defoe, Honorable Irvin McIntyre, Honorable Joseph, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, P.S. Anslem, or the Permanent Secretaries, my cabinet colleagues and other parliamentarians, the staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, the Project Implementation Unit, the contractors, invited guests, the media, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I just want to convey the apologies of the Prime Minister, who had loved to be here today but had other pressing issues to deal with. This morning, I want to begin by commending Honorable Roland Royer and Honorable Defoe and their remarkable team, especially the Projects Implementation Unit at the Ministry of Agriculture. Their leadership has been instrumental in advancing this government's commitment to building a more resilient agriculture and fisheries sector, especially after the devastation of Hurricane Maria and other climatic shocks. Our vision is bold: to grow the agricultural industry into a $700 million pillar of the economy by 2030. And I'm confident, given the investments made and the direction we are heading, that this is not just a dream, it is a destination. But to get there, we will need every fisher, every farmer, every fishmonger, and every agro-processor to do two critical things. One, protect the investments we have made, and increase your production so that together we can lift this sector to new heights. Let me remind you, this progress was not made by chance. Today's ceremony, this achievement, is the fruit of sacrifice, vision, and faith. After being rescued from his home in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, our Prime Minister, with no time to change, left Dominica, stood before the United Nations, determined that Dominica shall not fall by the wayside, boldly proclaimed that we will become the first climate resilient nation in the world. That, my friends, is leadership. That is faith. That is action. Faith that has carried this country through despair, through disaster, and through difficulty. Today I rejoice with the communities who will benefit from safer, stronger, more secure infrastructure. We certainly welcome the improvement of the Newtown and Fokole fish landing sites, which will directly benefit our fisher folks as clearly articulated by the Minister of Fisheries, for more modern facilities to sustain and grow their livelihoods. The development of the feed mixing plant in Portsmouth is a critical investment in reducing feed costs for livestock farmers, boosting local production, and enhancing food security, which is what is driving the Minister of Agriculture. The investment in both slipways and boat building materials will ensure fisher folk in Stowe, Scott said, Soufriere, Saint-Sauvé have modern equipment and facilities needed to operate efficiently and safely. And of course, I cannot wait for the slipway construction to start in Scott said, a much anticipated project. So thank you, Minister of Agriculture, to increase during the time of disaster, we can easily pull up our boats. But I must also thank him publicly this morning for the boats delivered to my fishermen to increase our catch. And we are also building, well, soon, under the BNTF program, we'll be building our modern fishing processing plant in Scottshead. So when you're ready for seasoned fish, smoked fish, you know where to come. Scottshead, and we'll be exporting that fish as well. So these outcomes, I am passionate about the kind of interventions that touch lives, restore dignity, and create real opportunities for growth and prosperity for our people in Dominica. The restoration of segments 4 and 11, I can tell you, we had a meeting about, I think last week, with DHTA, and they asked me, Minister, when are we going to restore those trails? So thank you, Minister of Agriculture, that today, I hope they're listening, we are signing the contract for segment 4 and 11. As you know, we have the longest Whitey Kubili Trail in the region, and many people come to Dominica just to trail, just to hike our trails. So I am very pleased that after we've waited so long, we are about to begin that project. And this will also boost up community tourism and create jobs and ensure sustainable growth. So Dominica is not just bouncing back, but rising higher, stronger. Together, all 10 contracts signed today, valued at EC 5.6 million, is about a better future for you, your families, and generations to come. So I caution us, let us not be distracted. Let us not allow those who try to pull wool over our eyes to blur the vision of the Dominica we are building. This is a Dominica rising on the global stage in tourism and trade, with the most resilient homes in the Caribbean, a nation that protects its most vulnerable and empowers its people for education, a Dominica claiming its rightful title as the food basket of the region, exporting more, producing more, and feeding more. And the real question for each of us is, how are we positioning ourselves to be a part of this transformation? How are you contributing to grow the economy so that your income grows, your family is better off, and you secure multiple streams of income? Nothing stops a fisherman from going out to sea in the morning and by afternoon offering sunset tours to our visitors. That's the Dominica of possibilities. Let us take pride in how far we've come. Let us recognize strong leadership when we see it. Let us celebrate our resilience as a people. Despite inflation, global conflict, climate threats, Dominica is transforming. And mark down this year, 2028 will be a defining year for our nation. Our international airport will be complete. The first phase of our marina will be operational. The cable car, already a regional marvel, will be soaring. Our homes will be powered by geothermal energy, reducing the cost of electricity. And our agriculture and fisheries sector will be on track, with your help, to double production, thanks to the strength of all of our farmers, fishers, and agro-processors. To the contractors who will be signing agreements today, I thank you. I call you to approach this work with the highest standards of quality, with a deep sense of national duty, and with pride. You are helping to write a new chapter in Dominica's resilience story. I also extend heartfelt thanks to the World Bank team for their steadfast partnership. Thank you for standing with Dominica during our darkest days to help us reach our brightest. My friends, my people, this is the future we are building. A future where we rise over every obstacle, because our government's mission, our passion, is that every Dominican should be able to say, I am proud of my country. I have a resilient home. I am earning more. I can take care of my family. And so today, we give thanks. We thank the Lord for His grace and His mercy over our country. May He continue to bless us and give us wisdom and keep us united. May we walk together in faith, in vision, and in action. May God bless our government and our people. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Charles Pemberton. And we now proceed directly into the signing of our contracts. Today, over 5.2 million EC dollars will be invested through contracts for the procurement of over 100 irrigation tanks and pumps for 155 farmers, the rehabilitation of fish landing sites in Newtown and Fonkole, retrofitting of a facility in Portsmouth for feed mill operations, construction and repair of fiber reinforced plastic boats, refurbishment of the Roseau Park House, and rehabilitation of key trail segments under the Waiti Kubuli National Trail. We'll sign 11 contracts today. Natural farming and water solution, $272,000 for the procurement of 100 1,000-gallon water tanks to strengthen farm irrigation. T-Max with a sum of $88,964 for the procurement of water pumps to strengthen irrigation systems for 75 farmers. The WASCO with a contract sum of $350,141,000 for the procurement of 4, 2, and 1-inch pipes and lines to establish on-farm irrigation. Corisav Inc. $1,109,692 $1,000,000.50 for the rehabilitation of the Newtown and Funkole fish landing sites and the retrofitting of a facility at Longhouse, Portsmouth to accommodate a feed mill. Regional Contractors, Inc., $1,442,045 for the design and build services for the rehabilitation of the boat slipways at Stowe, Scott's Head, and Sansouvet. Auto Trade Limited, EC $98,400 for the procurement of resin required for the construction of 54 fiber reinforced plastic boats. Oyo Construction Limited, $643,875.34 for the rehabilitation of Segment 4 of the Whitey-Gubili National Trail and $512,894.83 for the rehabilitation of Segment 11 of the Whitey-Gubili National Trail. Ada Trucking Services Limited, $458,947.26 for the rehabilitation of the Roseau Multipurpose Pack House to support enhanced market access, value chain integration, and to strengthen national food security. Maxroy Trading Limited, $199,189.60 for the procurement of green hat timber for urgent rehabilitation works on Segment 4 and 11 of the Whitey-Gubili National Trail. And lastly, Butley Carrett, EC $115,000 for the construction of 5 additional fiberglass reinforced plastic boats, with a total contract sum of $5,251,150.03. Let's give a round of applause. That should be good news. So we can go right into the contract signing. Natural Farming and Water Solution, $272,000. Natural Farming and Water Solution, $272,000 for the procurement of 1,000 water gallon tanks. Thank you very much. T-Max, $888,964. T-Max representative. This contract is being signed for the procurement of water pumps to strengthen irrigation systems for 75 farmers. Thank you, T-Max. Thank you very much. Next we have Dowasco, a total sum of $350,141 for the procurement of 4 2- and 1-inch pipes and lines to establish on-farm irrigation. Thank you, Mr. Etinoff, and that was the Wasco signing the contract for $350,141. Next, we have Corisav Inc. with a total contract sum of $1,109,692.50 for the rehabilitation of Newtown and Fonkole fish landing sites and the retrofitting of a facility at Longhouse, Portsmouth to accommodate a feed mill. Thank you, Corisav Inc. Next, we have Regional Contractors Inc. with a contract sum of $1,402,045 for the design and build services for the rehabilitation of the boat slipways at Stowe, Scott's Head, and Sansouve. Thank you, Regional Contractors Inc. Auto Trade Limited, $98,400 for the procurement of resin required for the construction of 54 fiber reinforced plastic boats. Thank you, Auto Trade Limited. Thank you very much, Auto Trade Limited, for your partnership. And Minister, will you allow Oyo Construction Limited to come and sign the 2 contracts? Right. Oyo Construction Limited signing 2 contracts today. The first with a total sum of $643,875.34, and the second $512,894.83 for the rehabilitation of segments 4 and 11 of the Waitikobuli National Trail. Thank you, Oyo Construction Limited. Ada Trucking Services Limited with a total contract sum of $458,947.26 for the refurbishment of the Roseau Multipurpose Pack House to support enhanced market access, value chain integration, and to strengthen national food security. Thank you, Ada Trucking Services Limited. Maxroy Trading Limited, a total contract sum of $199,189.60 for the procurement of green hat timber for urgent rehabilitation works on segments 4 and 11 of the Waitikobuli National Trail. Thank you, Mr. Maxroy, for your continued partnership. And these were the contracts signed for a total contract sum of $5,251,150.03. That was smooth and easy, right? Smooth and easy. Thank you, ministers, and thank you, PS, and our contractors. These projects are modern numbers. They sound like they're a lot, but they're meaningful, measurable actions that will impact lives, livelihoods, and our national resilience. At this time, as we conclude, let us recommit ourselves to the journey ahead. The success of these projects depend on continued collaboration, accountability, and follow-through. To the Ministry of Finance, with a special mention of Ms. Boland and the Budget Controller, I want to say thank you. To my ministers, Honorable Charles Pemberton, Honorable McIntyre, thank you for gracing us with your presence and for those insightful words. Let us thank once more all of our partners, contractors, ministry staff, and above all, our farmers, fishers, and processors. May we continue to grow together, produce more together, and build a stronger Dominica together. To the project implementation unit, particularly the procurement staff, our permanent secretary, Mr. Ryan Anselm, special thanks to all of you for your hard work and dedication. Thank you to all of you for your attendance here today, and have a productive and blessed day. Minister, I want to hope we have snacks. Yes, so we have refreshments. So on your way out, you can grab something, socialize, and we will now pause for a photo op with the contractors and beneficiaries. So if you're a contractor or you are an interested partner, you can come to the front, or I'm not sure if we're doing it outside for a photo op.
Come to the end of
So
this
thank you everybody for coming.
ceremony at the State House Conference Center. A ceremony called by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, the signing ceremony for agriculture and fisheries investment projects, and some 10 contracts valued at 5.6 million EC dollars have been awarded. We just saw this signing, and of course before that we had addresses from the Honorable Julian Defoe, who is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. We also heard from Honorable Roland Royer, the Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. Dr. Irvin McIntyre, the Minister who is responsible for Finance, and we heard as well from the Minister Denise Charles Pemberton, who gave remarks on behalf of the feature address, rather, on behalf of Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. So as we said, 10 contracts valued at 5.6 million EC dollars. Let me just go through the list of contracts that was signed, and the contracts went to the Natural Farming and Water Solutions, also T-Max, the Wasco, Carisav Inc., Original Contractors Inc. as well, Auto Trade Limited, Oyo Construction Limited, Ada Trucking Services, and Maxroy Trading. And of course, this is under the Emergency Agricultural Livelihoods and Climate Resilience Project. You may remember that this came about in 2017 after the devastating impacts of Hurricane Maria, which struck Dominica then. And that project really focuses on rebuilding and reinforcing the agricultural and fisheries sectors, which are vital, of course, for our economy in Dominica and the livelihoods of many of its residents. So we have come to the end. It was a pleasure being with you at the State House Conference Center. It's back to the TED Daily Studio, DBS Radio.